Hey there, I'm here with Marinette Kozlow, and we're going to talk about her evolution in collaborative entrepreneurship, both in her business and the bigger mission that she has to really bring um, culture and um, and peace into Buffalo and her experience, both as an immigrant and an entrepreneur, and give us a little insight into how her work has evolved, how this mission that she has emerged for her, and how collaborative entrepreneurship has played a role and will continue to play a role for her as she grows her business and she really gets her mission out there in Buffalo. I'm really excited for you to hear about her project and her mission in Buffalo. And I'm excited to really dive into your experience, Marinette, with collaboration and how that looks. How that looks different for you in the business that supports you, right? And how you're working to get that mission of yours out there and to really connect people with that, but also support the not-for-profits that you want to support through that mission. So I'm excited to talk. Um, do you want to tell us a little bit about your early journey in entrepreneurship? And then I want you to give us a little insight into your personal experience with how this mission really emerged for you. But first, let's talk about, you started off your entrepreneurial journey as a graphic designer, right?
Yes.
And doing all of the work yourself,
Hmm.
right? So,
Yes.
like most of us in entrepreneurship, we're a one-man band,
Yeah.
right? We've got to figure it all ourselves. We've got to be the sales, the marketing, the production and everything. So tell me about how that evolved, right? From being a solo graphic designer to being a broker.
Well, I did do, I did work at one of the top ad agencies in Buffalo. And then when I had my first son, I stayed home but I always worked and I always wanted to be creative and I wanted to keep my skills sharp and I kept working from home. I threw up my little shingle and people would send me work and I'd get paid. And it was the coolest experience to be home and never had to leave and make a check to
Yeah.
show up in the mail. So I was doing corporate design, you know, the trifolds, the whole nine yards, all the business collateral that you need. And then I decided after like 8 years, I said, let me do something different. Let me do some graphic design, some illustration where I could sell it. And I did. I developed a design and I went to a local store owner and I said, "What do you think?" And she said, "Oh, these are great. Yeah, I'll buy them." I wanted to give it to her on greeting cards, and she says, "I want t-shirts." T-shirts. I don't know the first thing about t-shirts. So then I had to approach t-shirt shops and say, "Can you make this for me?" And they said yes. And so I made t-shirts and then I was selling it. But then I had to buy so many t-shirts that I then, to keep the price down, then I had to go and sell these t-shirts because I had a whole car full of t-shirts. So what do I
Mm.
do? So I went to all the little boutiques and at first you make an appointment. Don't just show up. I made appointments
Learned that the hard
and
way, huh?
oh yeah. And then I went around and showed everybody I sold everything. It's like wonderful. And then I had to then manage I did that for about 3 years. And then I said, I want to be the printer. I don't want to have somebody else printing it. And I chose like the most expensive print process. It was digital, it was brand new at the time. It was called direct to garment because it gave me as many colors as I want. I had with the freedom to do any color and all the colors at one time, and I didn't have to pay per screen. And I love it.
Hmm.
And we did it. And then I said, well, this super expensive machine, I'm not going to keep it busy the whole time. I have to have, I'm going to do work for other people. So then I had to go out again. I had to reach all these people and say, hey, I could help you. I could print these shirts for you. I could do
Mm.
this, and then and we got in this whole rabbit hole of doing pillows and I just everything. I did so many things. We
Lots of
cut,
trial and
we
error.
we print, cut, and sewed so many things too on top of but I was selling for other artists. I was making artists things and they were reselling it or we were reselling it. It was a great, another collaboration. It really
Yeah.
was a lot of the whole business has been nothing but, as we're discussing now, it's coming to my mind, how many other kinds of
Realizing how much
collaboration. Yeah.
collaboration. Yeah, and all these interesting models, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, really utilizing shared resources.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, then came 2020 and the world shut down and
Hmm.
we were shut down and it was my husband. My husband was my printer. I taught him how to print and he was like one of the best printers around here for direct to garment specifically. We didn't do silkscreen in-house. So he was amazing. But I looked at him and I said, we got to change this because we can't keep we can't keep getting shut down. What if this happens again? We have a family we have to feed. No money's coming in. This is crazy. We have to be able to, you have to do something different. And he did. January came, he went and did something different, and I was no longer printing and no more longer doing
Right.
print on demand. And that really changed everything. So then I had to again go out and reach people, vendors who will work with me, and that's another level of collaboration. So I
So
know,
they're printing now for you.
yes, I'm no longer the
Right.
printer. They're the printer. I'm the
So
broker.
you went from being the printer and having other
Yes,
people come to you to utilize your
yes,
equipment, your technology. So now to the opposite, where you're brokering and you're not doing the printing, but you're reaching out and gathering the business
yes.
and
Well,
outsourcing the printing.
I'm like the conductor here. Like
Yeah.
everybody comes to me and then I orchestrate where it all goes and when it's supposed to come and go and ship and I
Yep.
literally work with companies in Buffalo, outside of Buffalo, outside of the United States. I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm
And do
working
you
with
like
people.
that role better than being the resource that people come to print?
I don't want to be a printer. I never wanted to be a printer except for the freedom it gave me with design.
Yes.
That
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
the only reason why I was a printer. It really
And now
was,
you still get to do that. So you just
yes,
do the design and
yes,
you outsource the printing. That's
yeah,
wonderful. And how many printers do you work with now? Because there's all different things people want printed, right? And
right.
each person has their specialty.
I literally have a network of I can't even tell you how many.
Wow.
Locally, I work with about three
Uh-huh.
locally, maybe three or four. But if it's something they can't do, because nobody understands that one company cannot do everything under the sun. If they
No,
say they're
nor
doing
should
that
they.
for you, they're actually sending it out too. Like
Mm,
it's just not possible to do everything under the sun. And I
yeah.
learned this when I was working when I was printing, when I was the
Hmm.
printer, big companies would come to me. I was like, wow, they're coming over to here, like they've been established for 30, 40 years and they're coming to me to
Right.
do the direct to garment printing.
So
It has
you're like getting
definitely,
insight into the model that they actually
yeah,
use. So these big
yeah.
printers really aren't printing everything. They're using
Oh,
smaller printers
if
as
they
well.
need to, they will go somewhere else to get that done. And when you ask them, oh, do you know anybody that can do this? They'll say no. They do
Mm,
it. They say that they do it. And I said,
hmm.
well, this is what's opened my mind to, well, why do I always turn away silkscreen? Why don't I just say I could do that for you? So why don't I say I could do embroidery for you?
Right. Which is
And that's what
fantastic for the
started.
small printer because they're not
Yes.
doing the selling. They're just doing the
Right.
printing. They do what they love. They do what they're great at. You're bringing the business in and then
Yes.
they're getting paid for their work.
I have a great relationship with my printers because you know what? They are my backbone. and
Hmm.
I'm supporting them too. So we
Hmm.
have a great relationship. It's
Yeah,
a very good, and I
it's a
do,
great model.
I always try to tell people, look, you treat them really well. Don't beat them up. Treat them well, because who are you going to go to after that? You're
Yeah,
going to find another guy, and then after you beat him up, you're going to go to another guy. I mean, treat your
they're your
vendors
partners.
well. They are your partners. They're not below you. You
No,
know,
yeah.
some people are like, oh, they're this and they're that. What are you talking about? These
Wow, yeah.
people are what make you your money. These
Hmm.
are what's supporting you. So you need to support them back. So you have a very good relationship with them. It's
Yeah,
important. And then they'll
yeah,
help you in a tight bind, in a tight situation, because it happens. Tight situations happen. Like
yep.
something could go wrong, or, you know, even if it's not something you want to send to them because somebody else could do it better, or not better, but just at a better price or whatever. And say that person just did not deliver. They did not deliver.
Yep.
They will help you.
Create a loyalty to each other.
Yes, it's
Yep.
important to have that loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And those relationships are so critical and they develop over time, right? And that
Yes.
relationship evolves and you really, begin to understand how you can rely on each other. And I love that. I love that experience that you bring to that. Um, let's talk about your mission and let's talk about your experience, the experience in your life that led to this mission. So you have this business that sustained you, right? You have a thriving business that you've truly built on trial and error and collaborative entrepreneurship, right? It's so much, it sounds to me like it's so much more sustainable, right? The way that you have this built now.
Yes.
And it really provides a structure that can support you. But you also have this really big mission, and tell us about, how this evolved for you, how this really came into fruition and being for you, um, and and the types of collaboration that you're utilizing now and want to continue to utilize to really get this mission out there in the world.
So I am an immigrant. I came here from Lebanon. I was born there and came here as a baby. My older siblings were they were older than me and they remember more. I don't, because I was a baby. But I have experienced watching my parents struggle to communicate. We were the mouthpiece. We were the ones going to school. So we would come home and we would talk for them. If there was a letter, you had to read it for them. If there was a check that needed to be made, you were making that check. And no matter how old you were, as long as you could write clearly, and believe me, they were on you. Make sure you write nice. Nice. Don't write messy, write nice. They expected, to not look like a little 10-year-old was writing this thing. So, and after my sister, who was a lot older than me, after she got married, everything fell on me. So I was the bookkeeper, the communicator, the take her to the hospital, or not hospital, but like the doctor, and explain everything to her. I was, even though my mother worked in a store for 35 years, she
And
still
that's a
never
store
gave
where
me.
you are right now,
That's where I
sitting in
am
your
right
living room.
now.
Yeah.
She just couldn't. There are things you can't communicate because you're not talking medical in a store. You're
Yeah.
talking about,
Really challenging.
yeah, you're talking about tissues, you're talking about pop, and you're talking about, you're not talking about kidneys and,
Yeah.
whatever, you're not, so
Yeah.
I was it's just what it was. And it was normal. It was just normal. This is what you do.
Hmm.
And I she worked here for 35 years in the store. She was like the corner grandma. Everybody would come in and, they would be upset or whatever, and she would talk to them and try to help them. And if they were hungry, she would feed them. If they were needed to call their mother or something, she would give them the phone or give them a quarter, because there was a phone booth outside. And she just was like the neighborhood grandma.
Hmm.
She'd correct them when they were wrong. You go home. You're not. This isn't what you should be doing right now, or whatever. She was. a blessing to this corner. And she's still alive. She lives in the back and she's wonderful. And I'm very grateful for watching her. But she worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when she finally closed, I at that point had been printing in my basement in Elmwood Village. And I said to my husband, who was my printer, I said, what do you think if we buy my mother's house?
Hmm.
And because she was thinking about selling it. And we moved the business into the upstairs, where there's
Yeah.
daylight. Why
Yeah.
don't we
And you
print
were
up
telling
there?
me that that neighborhood had been in quite a decline.
It was not very good. When I left, I was happy to leave because it was not, I didn't feel it was safe. I mean, we witnessed all kinds of really bad behaviors, really, really bad. And it was just horrible. And I just was ready to go and I never wanted to come back.
Hmm. But here you are,
And so
and you're
we
back.
we were really at a struggle. We were at a, like, should we really do this? Oh my gosh, what are we doing? But then, and
Yeah.
now this time we have three little, no, they weren't little, but they were like 8 to 13. I mean, we had three boys in that age range, and are they going to turn out like hoodlums? I mean, what, we don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a mother, am I doing the best thing for them? But my mother was alone. She had this big building by herself. She had a commercial space, and it just made sense that she would be okay. I would have a place for my business, and I could live
Hmm.
upstairs. I mean, it just worked out really well. Now it's been 10 years, and it was one of the best decisions I could have made for my family, for my business. It just was really wonderful to be able to do this. And the space is great. I'm very grateful for it.
So you told me about an experience that you had, I think shortly after you moved in, or
Yes.
at some
So
point after you moved in, and where you really looked outside and realized that something had really changed in that
big
neighborhood.
time. Yes. I
Tell
looked
us about
out the
that.
window and I would see a couple women walking. I would hear everybody speaking a different language. I don't know what language they're speaking, but it's definitely different. And you could tell by what they're wearing. They're wearing African, some of them were wearing African clothes and beautiful, ornate designs and patterns. It's just beautiful. And then one of them one day was walking with her grocery bag on her head. I was so like, wow, I have never seen anybody walk with anything on their head like that. And you only see it on TV when you're watching something on Africa. Like, here she is walking right past my window. It's like, wow. And across the street, upstairs, there's a man on the porch wearing what I thought to be a skirt, but it's called a longi. He was from, oh, I think it was Burma. I'm not sure. I think it was, I think he was Burmese, which is Myanmar. I understand, but at the time, they considered themselves, Burmese. So there's just wow. And then everywhere I turned, there was somebody from another country, and we all managed to live in the same area without any uprising, without any craziness. It was just everybody was just surviving. Everybody was doing what they had to do to
Yeah.
survive. This is what you
And
do.
I loved how you told me how stabilizing it really became.
And it was because it was so bad before. But when I came here, I was like, I could breathe a little bit. I was like, wow, it's not as bad as I remember. And I look down my street and people are actually fixing their houses and putting up fences, like nice wooden fences. And I just was, wow, putting in a new driveway. I was so amazed. And they were all from other countries.
Mhm.
Like I know when I would see them, they were like hard to speak English. So I knew they were freshly here,
Mhm.
from other
Yeah, you
countries.
said I think most of them are refugees,
Yes, I
you
think they are
mentioned.
refugees. I mean, there might have
Hmm.
been some immigrants mixed in, but I don't know. But they
Hmm.
definitely, and some of them are just really approachable and others are not. They just keep to themselves. And
Yeah, sure. We're all human, right?
yes. Oh yeah, yeah. You got your
Yeah.
introverts and you got your extroverts. But yeah, it was great to see. And then I came up with this idea because I'm always creative and I said, well, I came up with this, which buffalo are you? So I have all these buffaloes with flags in them. And I have the magnets over there. Well, I don't know if you could see. Can you
Yeah.
see that from back there?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they each have a different country's flag. So I said, and I found out that all these refugees were getting so much help. And I was just blown away by the amount of help they're getting. I know some of my friends on Facebook, they're like, oh, we're doing this apartment for this refugee family. And they're talking about all the things they're supplying them, towels and kitchen stuff and bedding and beds and couches. And I was blown away. I said, Mom, did anybody help us when we first came here? It was in the early 70s. I said, did anybody help us? She said, no. And I'm telling her what these agencies and different just volunteer groups are doing. And she says, nobody gave us anything.
Yeah,
We got
those
stuff.
resources weren't available.
No, we got stuff out of the garbage. We got, I slept on the floor most of my life. Somebody is knocking at my door. Is that okay? I'm sorry. Can I, can I get that?
Yeah, of course. We'll
Oh,
pause.
okay. So I'm saying,
Yeah, we're back.
hey. And so she said, no, we did not get that help. And I said, come on. I actually pressured her. I even pressured my dad. I said, come on. We had to have gotten some. She's like, they both were like, no, we did
There's
not.
nothing.
We had the money in our pockets and we arranged
Yeah.
for betting, not betting, but for apartments with people. And I was like, why did you come to Buffalo? Why Buffalo? It's so different from all the weather in Lebanon. How did you come to Buffalo? And they said it's
Right.
because they knew people here.
Yeah.
And that is how we got an apartment. Now, we didn't live for free. We paid for the apartment, but
Hmm.
we had an arrangement.
Yeah,
Know exactly what the arrangement was, but I don't think we had the money to pay on the first day that we got here. I think
sure.
they let us have like 1 month to pay 2 months worth of rent, but nothing was handed to us. And
Hmm.
anyway, I was just so amazed at all the help that these organizations are doing that
Yeah.
I said to myself, how can I help them? What can I do with my resources, my abilities to help them, to bless them for blessing these people?
Hmm.
And I came up with the Be United because it really is something I truly feel about, and that is it's about um and it was very big at that time. Like every other thing was talking about diversity, diversity, diversity. And I always resonate with that. I think that's beautiful. Diversity is
Hmm.
beautiful. But but there was still so much fighting. Like,
Yeah.
can
Felt like
we
the timing was right.
Yeah. Can we be diverse? Can we celebrate our diversity? And can we be united while we're doing that?
Yeah,
And that is the whole premise behind Be United.
I
Can
love
we,
it.
thank you. Can we just, we can't, one isn't above the other. We all need to be united because we're all under this one umbrella called the United States. Can we be united as a country?
Yeah.
Stop with this divisions. I mean, I don't want to not celebrate diversity. Of course I do, but I don't want it to go to an extreme where you don't love somebody else because they're from somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
that was a man-made line that was drawn. Like just because you
Right.
were born on the other side of that man-made line does not make you less of a person.
Yeah.
I
And I
mean,
love how it ties right back to your mother, right?
yes,
If you need a quarter, if you need to call your mother, if you need lunch,
yes,
right? It's what we do.
yes, absolutely. Everybody needs to get fed. I mean, obviously I want everyone to be able to like stand up on their, on their own, and to make them feel good about themselves and where they're supporting themselves. But what do you do when they have nothing?
Yeah.
You
You
gotta,
have to be in a place where you can start to do that.
yeah, you
And these
gotta reach out.
organizations,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
and
I
you really saw in
appreciate
these
that.
organizations what it would have made a huge difference to your family.
Oh my gosh, it would have been huge. But
Yeah,
at the same time, after 3 years, we had our first home. Actually, 2 years. My parents had their first home, and we had like nothing when we came. And
yeah, yeah.
but and I don't
And
even
things are quite, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of obstacles in the way. There's a lot of obstacles in the way that may not have been there too then. And there's so much has changed since then as well. Tell me about how you started growing this mission, how you really wanted to start supporting um, those not-for-profits who are supporting that refugee process and settling into Buffalo and allowing for them to have the resources that they need. I loved how you approached, connecting your design, right, your vision for this message, right, with supporting those not-for-profits. Tell me about the fundraisers that you've structured and designed and how that's going. How has it been connecting in with those not-for-profits and the response that you've gotten from people on this
yeah.
project?
Um, so I have in 2023 was this postcard I was sending out, and I just was sending these out, and I was showing people this. And I said, I want to do this fundraiser. I want to do a fundraiser using this art, which is that one right there. And
Hmm.
I want it to be,
And that's a lawn
and
sign, by the
and
way,
that's a
just for our
lawn sign,
listeners. Yeah,
yes. And but I did it on t-shirts and hoodies and mugs and so many things. So I said I want to be able to I have to reach out to these organizations and find one that will partner with me, because I only have so much reach. I literally have like this much reach, but
sure.
all the people that love them and support them, they need to be, the organization needs to be alongside me so that they could reach those people that they
Yeah,
already have their attention.
yeah,
They don't know me from anybody. So am I even going to reach any of them? It'd be by accident or something. But you already have this group of people that love you. I need you to work with me, and I need you to advertise.
mhm,
However, send out emails, send out posts
right.
on
And
your
this is a
social media.
fundraiser that supports them.
Yes, and that's what it is. And it's an agreed upon percentage. They tell me, this is the percentage, and I said that's fine, and I build the online store with the products that they feel they want to sell. And well, I give them like a list, and we can do all of them, we can do one of them, whatever you want to do. And
Yeah,
they said, oh, let's do this, this, and this. And I built the online store, and with it, I made the graphics for them to put on to their social media posts, um, and then when the orders come in, I take care of the whole ordering process. I manage it, and then when the online store closes, it's an agreed upon closing. When it closes, uh, then I go and I put it in, I send it all out. I send it out to my printers, my
right.
embroiderers, my whatever.
You activate the network.
Yes, I do. Here we go. We're flying
We're
now.
on.
And then I give people the option, the not-for-profit, I give them the option to have their people, and I actually do this at the very beginning. Their people can choose to pick up from me where it's free shipping, meaning it's like they don't have to pay for shipping.
Yep.
They can come to my shop and pick it up, or they can have it
Mhm.
delivered to them. And that's what people chose, what they wanted. Some people chose to come here, some people,
Sure.
And
Yeah, I love that. And I love the structure of that relationship that you have with those not-for-profits, that collaborative relationship of, I want to support you. And so I've created this message, essentially, is what you're creating. You're creating this visual message that you want to share that people are interested in buying to reflect their own values.
yes.
And doing that to support the organizations that you believe in. Um, Tell me about your vision for this. Ultimately, where do you want to see this kind of ending up? You've told me a little bit about what you'd really like to see in Buffalo with this message, which, by the way, you keep evolving every year, right? You
Yeah.
keep adding
Yeah.
flags, you keep adding to the design as you learn about more representation in Buffalo. You continue to add that, and you continue to evolve and change your design. Um, this is an ongoing project for you, right? Just a continuation every year, and it's such a passion for you. What would you really love to see in Buffalo with
So
this message, with this project?
with this first flag, it was only 84 flags. And then when I did the next flag for the next artwork was for to benefit the Journey's End, and that had 108 flags. And then finally, it took me 2 years. Finally, I finished, had all the flags of the world on them. And that was for um, wow, my mind went blank. The International Institute of Buffalo. They were the beneficiary of this
Hmm.
fundraiser. And this one, it's all going this way. And I'm going to this new one that I do, this year's will be a horizontal one, similar to
Hmm.
that, but it will
Yep.
have all the flags because that one's only 84. This one will have 193. And
Wow.
then what's really special about this is I also have communities on here with the
Hmm.
Native American local here, the Six Nations, and then I have an African American buffalo in there. So that I really feel with all of the nations that are coming here and refugees that are coming here, I really feel that there should be a flag for every school. I really do. I mean,
One of these in every
why
school.
one of these in every school, but like it will be horizontal like that, and it will have all the flags. And I want people to be represented. I want the little kids to look up and say, oh my gosh, there's the flag. They know what flag their country is. Of course, it's the United States. I am not saying we're not part of the United States, but us people, is what makes the United States. And we all have a love, a lot of us. I mean, even take an Irishman who has lived here and his family has lived here for generations. They see that Irish flag, they wear that Irish, they love it. That doesn't mean they don't love the United States. It means they are partial. They have this love for other part of the world, and that's okay. And
Yeah,
that's what these other children will have when they see this flag. They'll be like, oh, there it is. I had
I
this
love that.
family come in. They were from Pakistan, and they came in and they saw their flag because I have a whole magnet wall basically. It's a turn thing, and it has all
Yeah.
the flags on there individually. You can buy one if you wanted it.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, I should have had it right here. It's stupid I didn't, but um, but when they walked in and they were picking up their order. And when
Hmm.
they looked at the magnets, they saw their Pakistan and they're like, oh, it was so sweet. Like, I mean, it made my heart melt to see them so excited to see the little buffalo shape with their flag inside of it. It was just so cool to see it. And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, so another thing I would love for it to be on is a building. I think it
Hmm.
would be a great mural.
Yeah,
I think people will want to come and see their flag. I think people, it would just be a magnet. I think people would come. I
yeah, I
fear
agree.
vandalism because there are such strong feelings about some countries. But let's face it, it's the people, not the governments that are on this, that are represented here. It's the people,
It's the
not
people.
the governments. The governments could be evil, but it doesn't mean the people in it are evil.
Yeah.
So that's something to think. I want people to think about that. But anyway, there are people who are very, very against some countries. And I think people have to get over it in the sense of this is all about people. It's not about
Hmm. Right,
the
that we
government.
can live peacefully together.
Yes.
And this is
And I
something that
want,
you were talking about earlier, right? It's
yes, I
about
want people to
living.
meet in the middle. And I want
Yeah,
them to, it's not far this or far that. It's let's meet in the middle. Let's have some peace and let's all be united. Let's be united because that's what we're
I love
supposed to
that.
be.
What a
So,
powerful message and a powerful visual. Um, it's such an important mission, and I love that you've brought together, you know, your gifts and skill set, right? Your ability to bring that together visually and connect that through collaboration, right? Um, to create impact in your community in Buffalo. Um, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about collaborative entrepreneurship, but also to share this mission. I want to, if you're interested in connecting with Marinette and this mission, you're in Buffalo and you want to create a fundraiser for your organization, or you want to be involved. Marinette, we're going to make sure that we put that in the notes for the
thank
interview
you.
so that people can reach out and connect to you. If they're outside of Buffalo, um, is there a way to spread this message beyond Buffalo, or are you really focused in Buffalo for right now? I know all the graphics are the Buffalo.
Yeah, they
Um,
are, but I'm happy to work with any organization and we don't have to use my designs. You can use your own designs. I'm happy to work with anybody as
yeah,
long as, as long as it's a positive, I don't want it to be, I don't want to put my heart and soul into something that's not positive, you know.
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Thank you so much for connecting with me on this and exploring um, collaborative entrepreneurship, both in your business and in your really powerful mission here.
Thank
I so appreciate it. We learn a lot from these kinds of conversations, and that's the whole purpose of what we're doing here to really explore the power of collaborative entrepreneurship. Both for resilience in our business and in our impact. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to explore that with us.
I'm
Thank you.
so appreciative of you interviewing me. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. It's really it's a blessing. I appreciate it.
It's been
Well,
it's been
you
wonderful.
did ask me one question during before
Uh-huh.
and we didn't mention it this time. So I wanted to just say I actually through these reaching out to these not-for-profits, one of them has been a faithful customer of mine now. And
Oh, yes, that's right.
it's been a beautiful circle, like of, I'm going to be delivering something to them very shortly. So,
Right.
yeah,
So a collaborative partner in this project is now a loyal customer of yours.
and
I
I
love
didn't
that,
see that coming, but it was
that
just a
relationship.
really, yeah, it was great.
Yeah. When we approach things as collaborators, right? We really do build those relationships. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that back up. I appreciate
Oh, no
that.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're a wealth of knowledge. I mean, thank you for the other things you were telling me about how I could collaborate, and I appreciate that.
Well, it's
Oh,
that's our obsession, right? That's our
yeah.
obsession. And so,
But it's just mind blowing, It's things I don't even think of. I mean, we all need people who are stronger than us in other areas, we all need that.
Mm.
That's why collaboration works. And so
That's why it's exactly why collaboration works.
thank you for your input. I appreciate
Of
it.
course. Of course. Thank you. I appreciate this, and I'm looking forward to staying connected,
Awesome.
and supporting your work as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be sending out emails when it's time, and you can send me your email and I can put you on the email list. Anybody else
Perfect.
wants to be on the email list, I'll put them on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you want to get on our email list, we'll put a link in there for that too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. We'll
All
talk
right.
soon.